Oh. It's all such a mess. It's just too difficult to be alive, isn't it? And to try to function. There are all these people to deal with. I tried to buy a can of tuna fish at the supermarket, and there was this person standing right in front of where I needed to reach to get the tuna fish cans. So I waited a while to see if they'd move, and they didn't. They were looking at tuna fish too, but they were taking a real long time on it, reading the ingredients on each can like they were a book. A pretty boring book if you ask me, but nobody has. So I waited a long while, and they didn't move, and I couldn't get to the tuna fish cans. And I thought about asking them to move, but then they seemed so stupid not to have sensed that I needed to get by them, that I had this awful fear that it would do no good at all. They probably turn to me and say something like, "We'll move when we're ready, you nagging bitch." And then what would I do? And so I started to cry out of frustration, softly, so as not to disturb anybody. And still, even though I was softly sobbing, this stupid person didn't grasp that I needed to get by them to reach the goddamn tuna fish. People are so insensitive, I just hate them. So I reached over with my fist, and I brought it down real hard on his head, and I screamed, "Would you kindly move, asshole?" And the person fell to the ground and looked totally startled, so I ran out of the supermarket. I had such high hopes once. She said, throwing her head back madly, laughing wild amid severest woe. Beckett. You may ask, what parties has she gone to unleash this peculiar laugh? Well, mostly the Warhol crowd. One of the orderlies at Creedmoor said, "You remind me of Edie Sedgwick. I bet Andy Warhol would like you." But I never met him. And that's why I have not had the film career Edie Sedgwick had. But I haven't minded, really. Have you ever noticed how after you've known somebody just for a little small amount of time, how intolerable you find them? And speaking of which, who is Sally Jesse Raphael? Does anyone know? I mean, I know she runs a talk show like Phil Donahue, but my point is, who is she? Why does she think she's interesting? Or that we should listen to her? Why does she have all this self-confidence? Why doesn't she have the humility to know she's not so special? I don't have self-confidence. I think I'm special, but I have some humility to consider it. Maybe I'm totally worthless.
I used to be a very negative person. But then I took this personality workshop that totally turned my life around. Now when something bad or negative happens, I can see the positive. Now when I have a really bad day, or when someone I thought was a really good friend betrays me, I look at any of these things and I say to myself, this glass is not half full, it's half empty. No. No, I said it backwards, force of habit. This glass is not half empty, it's half full, not half empty. I probably need to take a few more personality workshops to complete the process. Still not quite within my grasp, this being positive business. It's hard for me to be positive because I'm very sensitive to the vibrations of people around me. Or maybe I'm just paranoid. But in any case, I used to find it difficult to go out of the house sometimes because of coming in contact with other people. The people in movie theaters who talk endlessly during the opening credits, who can just tell they're going to talk all through the entire movie and that it will be utterly useless to ask them not to talk. And even if you do ask them not to talk and they ungraciously acquiesce, they're going to send out vibrations that they hate you all through the entire movie. And then it will be impossible to concentrate. You can move, but then the person next to you in the new location will probably, rattle candy wrappers endlessly all through the movie. Basically, I don't go to the movies anymore. What's the point? But even if you can skip going to the movies, you pretty much have to go to the supermarket. Well, I was at the supermarket the other day. About to buy some tuna fish. And I sensed this very disturbed presence right behind me. So I thought, well, you should never look at a crazy person directly, so I thought, I'll just keep looking at these tuna fish cans. The person will then go away. But instead, wham, she brings her fist down on my head and screams, "Would you move, asshole?" Now, why did she do that? Makes me want to never leave my apartment ever again. I am the predominant source of energy in my life. I let go of the pain from the past. I let go of the pain from the present. That was an affirmation.
I wish I'd been killed when I was a fetus. Oh, it wasn't legal then, and my mother didn't think of it, but I think she'd prefer I'd never been born. I know I'd prefer she'd never really been born, and that would have taken care of my not being born as well. Plus, I'm really sick of Mother Teresa, aren't you? I mean, what makes her such a saint? She's just like Sally Jeffsy Raphael. She is. Oh, God, I'm starting to ramble. I can't help it. Okay, what does the AA prayer say? God help me to accept the things I cannot change. I can't change my rambling. Plus, I'm not an alcoholic anyway. I just went there because I didn't know what else to do with my life. And I thought maybe if I said I was an alcoholic, they'd accept me. But it didn't help. And there was this woman there at the AA meeting, and she said how she'd given up alcohol, but her life still wasn't working out anyway. And it was really hard to look at her because she was missing a tooth right in front. It did not make for a particularly attractive package at all. And she said how the program had helped her realize that she was powerless over alcohol, and this seemed to make her happy for some reason, although I feel powerless over lots of things, doesn't make me happy. So I looked at her and I yelled at the top of my lungs, "Why don't you get your tooth fixed?"
We can change our thoughts. I can choose to feel good. Everything is fine. Of course, that's just on the surface. Underneath is always this gnawing residue of anxiety. But is feeling anxious just part of the human condition? Well, let me try to feel happy for a moment. Sorry. Sorry, I was just thinking of something I read in the newspaper about this 14-year-old boy in Montana who shot his geometry teacher to death because the teacher was flunking him. Now that's crazy enough, but it seems that this particular teacher didn't come to school that day, and so this 14-year-old boy shot the substitute teacher instead. Shot her dead. I didn't know how to cope with that. I mean, positive thinking aside, how do you protect yourself from these sorts of things?
Do you get how I feel? Are you identifying with me? Or are you rejecting me? Would any of you give me a job ever? I can't believe you would, because I have tried to improve my life. I have fought. I have called people on the phone and screamed at them, "Let me babysit your children. I promise I won't kill them." But then they don't hire me, ever.
I hate being attracted to people. It's exhausting. It stirs up longing. I'm the predominant source of my life. I let go of my need for longing. I let go of sexual interest. God, if there is a God, his design about sex is certainly humiliating. It's humiliating to want things. And sex itself, people say, is beautiful, but is it? Maybe you think it is. Terrible viscous discharges erupting in various openings may strike you as the equivalent of the Sistine Chapel ceiling, for all I know. It doesn't strike me that way. But I'm being negative again. And clearly sex isn't just disgusting. I know that, and you know that. And when I'm lucky enough to go off with someone to his or her apartment, I certainly anticipate a pleasant time. As the his or her comment suggests, I'm attracted to women and to men, though more frequently to other guys, which I find rather embarrassing to admit to publicly. Well, in less tolerant times, you were put to death for this attraction. And then, of course, there are all the religious teachings about homosexuality. Ugh, people's concept of God is so odd. For instance, take the Christians who seem to believe that God is so disgusted by the sexual activities of homosexuals that he created AIDS to punish them, apparently waiting until 1978 or so to do this. But I don't mean to take away from God from anyone who has it. I just don't follow it. And it's not as if living without a belief in God is so attractive. Because I'm really sick of where I've been. I've gotten up every day and I've carried on with my life and acted decent and got things done while all the time believing none of it mattered. And I'm really sick of it. I'm really starved for some meaning, for some belief in something. You know, I went to the Harmonic Convergence ceremony in Central Park this summer. It was this strange New Age connected belief that there was an opportunity for mankind to make a spiritual shift away from pollution and destruction. So a couple of friends and I, we set our alarms for 4 a.m. to head up to 83rd and Central Park West, which had been designated a sacred site. And we all sat in a circle. And then a woman said we should all join in and make sounds like the conch shell. And then this loopy woman, I thought her sensibility was kind of icky. She got up and she invited everyone in the crowd who wanted to share their hopes and prayers and dreams for the future. And I thought, I don't want to hear everyone in the crowd tell their hopes for the future. We'd be stuck for hours listening to a lot of gobbledygook. I just wanted instant transformation of the planet. And I didn't want to hear anyone in the crowd say how we should go about it. I wasn't being very transformed. Harmonic convergence is about people coming together, and here I was disliking everyone. Oh God, maybe I shouldn't be so judgmental of people. I thought it was moving that everyone went there and showed up, and I liked that part, and I liked the toning. But otherwise, I felt very separate.
Why is there so much violence in my dreams? I keep having this recurring dream about that stupid man in the tuna fish aisle.
I keep having this recurring dream about the woman in the supermarket. I dream that no matter how else I try to behave, she always hits me on the head.
And then the next night, I dreamt that I was back at Creedmoor, and one of the orderlies was saying to me, "The universe doesn't make any sense. There is no order. You should be a star like Edie Sedgwick, but you're not." And then the next night, Nazis started to chase me, and so I had to hide in the frozen food counter. And then, the night after that, I dreamt I killed Sally Jesse Raphael.
And now, the Sally Jesse Raphael Show!
Hello! Sally Jesse Raphael can't be here today because I killed her. My aggression finally got the better of me, but what can you expect living in New York? These are her red framed glasses, however. You like me in them? Now, you know, this isn't my first time in front of the camera. You know, the late Andy Warhol discovered me, and he said I should be as famous as Edie Sedgwick. Well, that's not so famous, but those of you who follow the East Village scene and take drugs know who I mean. I hope you don't mind me doing that, but I'm hoping to make that my signature on the air rather than these fucking glasses. Let's see. Sally Jesse Raphael used to say troops a lot. I'll try that. Hey, troops! How you doing? Hey! You like these glasses? Oh, troops. Did I tell you about my dream about the baked potato? And my father? I ate him. Now, troops, I don't mean sexually. I mean, I ate him cannibalistically. No, I'm just kidding about that, troops. Just kidding. Anyway, our show today is not about cannibalism, and it is not about oral sex, although Dr. Ruth is a friend of mine. That's a lie. I hate Dr. Ruth. I hate Sally Jesse Raphael. I hate Mother Teresa. I want them all to fight to the death in the Colosseum using chains and nuclear-fueled revolving dildos. I'm sorry. Can I say the word dildo on television? What? Read off the cards. Read off what card? Oh. A-E-I-O-U. A-U? Well, that's an eye chart, not an idiot card. No, these cards are not useful. I'm not an optimist. Oh, sorry, that's a slip of the tongue. I'm not an optometrist. I am a talk show host or hostess. Anyway, our show today is about all these topics: nuclear proliferation, condoms and children, the ozone layer, AIDS, homosexuality, heterosexuality, necrophilia, and attacks on people who talk too much. And we have to cover all these topics in under 30 minutes, so I better stop talking and bring out my first guest. Won't you join me in welcoming the infant of Prague? I don't even know what that is.
I dreamt that I was the infant of Prague appearing on the Sally Jesse Raphael show, though I've never even heard of her.
Infant of Prague. Won't you sit down?
Thank you, Sally. I only stand.
Oh, I'm not Sally. Sally's dead.
Oh, and is she in heaven with my father?
I really don't know. Now, chit-chat. Tell me, Infant of Prague, is that your first name?
My name is the Infant of Prague, and I'm a representation of the Christ child.
Really? Well, tell us a little bit, Infant, about what you're wearing. It's pretty wild, isn't it, Troops?
I'm glad you asked me that, Sally.
I'm not Sally. Sally's dead.
Then she's in heaven with my father. My inner garments are similar to the priest's alb, and are made of white linen and of lace.
Well, this is getting pretty racy, isn't it, Troops?
Please don't make sacrilegious remarks or I have to leave. Covering my inner garments is a liturgical cope, made of heavy damask, richly woven with gold, and embroidered with pearls.
Wow! You could certainly feed a lot of starving people with that outfit there, couldn't you, Infant?
Most people do not eat gold and pearls, Sally.
Sally's dead. How many times do I have to tell you that?
3 times representing the Blessed Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Okay, fine. Let's move on. Let's talk about condoms. Your church isn't very big on condoms, is it, Infant?
When people ask me, the Infant of Prague, for advice on sexuality, I sometimes think to myself, what do I know about sex? I'm an infant. What's more, I'm the Infant of Prague. I can't sit down, let alone have sex. But what people don't realize sometimes is that God, my Father, has a holy and blessed purpose to the mystery of sexuality. And that purpose is to create other little infants like me to glorify God in creation. That's why condoms are wrong, because anything that intercepts or contracepts that process is deeply wrong.
Yeah. Let me just get this straight. You would prefer that adolescents die from AIDS rather than tell them about condoms?
I do not prefer this at all, Sally. Yes, I know Sally's dead. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Sally, I would tell all the teenagers in the world to be like me, an infant without sexual urges, until they're much, much older and ready to commit to one person for life and to glory in the sacramental beauty of sex within marriage, where during the actual act of procreation, all you can think about is, I'm going to have a little baby, a little infant to glorify God.
That's pretty great, Infant, but don't you think your opinion is a little off? A little dated, a little what?
The divine is not dated.
Is it impractical?
The divine is impractical, that's why it's divine.
Okay, you know what? We're gonna have to take a little break right here, but we're gonna be right back with more of the Infant of Prague. You jerk! You stubborn shit, you effeminate eunuch! You make me want to vomit with your holier-than-thou attitudes. Why should we listen to you about sex, huh? I want you dead. Die! 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 We're back on the air! Oh, he fell down during the commercial. Yeah. Okay. So let's go for the gold. What about homosexuality? Is it disgusting or is it delightful?
It's a grievous sin. But I love homosexuals. I just want them to be celibate until they die.
Jerk on here anyway. God.
I don't want to be interviewed by you anymore. Sally! Sally!
I killed Sally Jesse Raphael and I can kill you too. Oh! Bang! Bang! Bang, bang!
It's not possible to kill the Infant of Prague.
I hate you, you Infant of Prague! Oh, I hate religious bigots. I hate people who think they know everything. I hate people who are filled with hate. I hate people who are filled with love. I wish my mother had had me killed when I was a fetus. That's the kind of person I am. Ah, ha, ha, you get it? Why is there so much violence in my dreams? I'm always killing someone or they're killing me. The other night I dreamt I killed Sally Jesse Raphael, and then I tried to kill the infant of Prague, whatever the hell that is. I have to let go of this rage. I can't live this way anymore.
I dreamt that I was in Central Park before dawn at the harmonic convergence ceremony, and this icky woman was talking about her hopes for mankind.
Then I dreamt that I was at the harmonic convergence, whatever the hell that is. There's something wrong with my dreams lately. I keep dreaming about things I never heard about. Anyway, there was this woman there, and she had a flower in her head, and she kept saying things like, I dance for the Sun King, I dance for the Moon King, made me real hostile. So I yelled up at the top of my lungs, why don't you get your tooth fixed?
Oh, and then I dreamt that the woman from the tuna fish aisle was there, and she shouted at the icky woman, why didn't you see a dentist, or there's something wrong with your tooth, or something like that, but it didn't make much sense because there wasn't anything wrong with the woman's tooth.
And all these aging hippies were sitting around with their legs crossed and their eyes closed, doing meditation. So I yelled out, what do you think this is, 1967? And then everybody started making a sound together. So I did that for a while, but then I got bored. So I thought, I know, I'll pretend to be a car alarm. So I went, me, me, me.
And then I turned off my car alarm. But then I went back to sleep, and then now the icky woman wasn't there anymore, and somehow I've been designated the person supposed to run the ceremony in her absence. So I addressed the crowd. I seem to have misplaced my conch shell.
What the fuck's a conch shell?
Please don't call out. I find it disorienting.
Why don't you get your tooth fixed?
There's nothing wrong with my tooth. Everyone in my universe is cooperative. I'm a natural leader. No one calls out in the middle of my speaking. I let the gems of the earth empower me.
Why are you holding that piece of chandelier to your forehead?
It's a crystal. Would you please be quiet?
No!
The earth is entering a new phase where it is going to evaluate what man has done to her over the past many centuries. And if there are 144,000 enlightened people on the planet at the time of the harmonic convergence, we can make a shift away from death and destruction.
La 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 la. You're blocking my way.
Look, we have to be silent now before the dawn.
You are blocking my way.
What?
Why are you always blocking my way to the tuna fish?
What tuna fish? There isn't any tuna fish here. We're in Central Park.
Well, what's that then?
Why is there tuna fish in Central Park?
I want to get by you.
Look, you have to prepare for the dawn. Now go sit down and wait.
I'm always being told to wait. When is it my turn?
Never! Now sit the fuck down!
Stop making that noise. At last, I'm here. I'm safe. I'm here. I have what I want. Poison. Poison. Salmon. I don't want no salmon.
Look, if people are going to refuse to tone, the dawn may not come up. Well, shut up!
And then I dreamt that the man in the tuna fish aisle was suddenly empathetic with me.
And then I dreamt that the woman and I were still in Central Park, and she was still weeping. But I felt this sudden wave of empathy for her. What's the matter?
I am laughing wild amidst first woe.
But you're weeping.
Oh, sorry.
Did you get the tuna fish you need?
I didn't get your tooth fixed.
That's a good suggestion. Thank you, I will.
The tuna fish is all mislabeled. Some of it is poison, and some of it is salmon, and some of it is tomato soup.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell the people here in the park about your hopes for the harmonic convergence?
Yes, I would. I hope that the pounding in my head stops. And I hope that people will not spit on me as I pass them on the street. And I hope that someone gives me a job. And I hope that I learn to say this glass is half full rather than half empty. And the hell with my half full glass. I want a full glass. I want it overflowing. I want to feel joy like I did that one summer day for 10 minutes before I decided that life was terrible and I went crazy. I want to feel joy that looks like this.
The sun's up.
Huh?
Everybody, breathe. In
And out.
in